the website tutorial that doesn't suck. Alright everybody, a quick overview of how the internet works and what you should be doing differently to make sure your site's up. This right here is a DNS server. DNS server, what it does is it takes a web address like google.com and it resolves it to one of those fancy IP address like a bunch of numbers, and basically what the numbers stand for is a machine, and that's where the files for the actual website are stored, like the pictures and images and stuff like that. So let's get a high level overview of how it works. Stiegel Co-Beagle here comes up, he wants to get on the internet to go to google.com, so he comes to the DNS server. The DNS server is going to say, hey Stiegel Co-Beagle, he does this in the background, not literally, Google can be found at this DNS, or at this IP address, or the server. Let's say server 1. And then Stiegel Co-Beagle gets to see all Google's files. Very nice, right? That's not the way most of the web works, or the web host that you're on, or maybe the pros do it that way, but not you. Let me explain. For most of you out there, this DNS server isn't out there independent of your server or your web host here. Your DNS server is the same people, the same company. For most of you, your server and DNS server are the same thing. So guess what happens? If this server goes down, your DNS goes down also. What does that mean to Stiegel Co-Beagle? If he wants to get on the internet to go to your site now, he can't even ask the DNS server where to go because it's down along with your host. Not a good situation to be in, because you have no way to communicate with Stiegel Co-Beagle now to say, hey, we're working on things, or hey, we have these other files here, or hey, we're not idiots and we do know what we're doing. So how can you make it better? Let me explain two different scenarios to you that you can do tomorrow to make it better. The first thing you want to do, and is absolutely critical, is you don't want to let your host manage your DNS. Absolutely not, never, ever, ever. If your host goes down, your DNS goes down, and you're pretty much just screwed. You have nothing to do. So the first thing you want to do is manage your DNS separate from your host. And let me show you how that works then if there's problems in the system. Okay, so instead of your host and your DNS being at the same place, let's go back to that setup where somebody else handles the DNS, and let's just let these people handle the servers, because that's what they're supposedly good at. So Stiegel Co-Beagle comes up to the server now, and he says, I want google.com. And this DNS server is going to, in the background, it automatically looks to see if this server's up. Guess what the beautiful part is? If this server's down, the whole system doesn't go down. The DNS server will just say, hey Stiegel Co-Beagle, the server that it's usually at is down, but we want you to go to server 2 now. So Stiegel Co-Beagle will go to server 2. And guess what? He wasn't left standing there looking like a goofball saying, hey, where's the site? He's at server 2 now. But what's that server 2? This is where the two scenarios break down. You can completely duplicate site 1 that's on server 1 and put it on server 2. And this way, if site 1 goes down, then you can have server 2 show the exact replica of your site. This is called redundancy, and it's very difficult to do. However, there are options that you can put on server 2 that you don't look like a moron and your visitors can actually see something. You can degrade nicely. If you have a widget and your server goes down, you lock up the 1,000 sites that the widget's on. However, if you have a DNS server that's managed separately and the DNS is still up, you can direct them, you can keep your widget live, or you can at least degrade nicely and it doesn't lock up those sites. Or what you can do is provide just a welcome screen. A lot of people provide, hey, we're having trouble now, you know, instead of server not found. It's just so much more professional. Or you can just migrate your help files over to server 2. Maybe they can look around, you know, and read your frequently asked questions and put your customer service contact there. By having your DNS separate, you have so many more options. However, when you have your DNS and your host is the same, when they go down, they go down. Stiegel Co-Beagle is just here by himself. If your site relies on being up, or your site relies on at least having a communication channel at all times, or within minutes, being able to communicate with your customers, being able to degrade nicely, it's highly recommended that you at least look into separating your DNS management from your host. Do not let the two host each other, unless downtime is okay with you. Otherwise, welcome to the 21st century, and Stiegel Co-Beagle welcomes you.